Hey everyone, it's JT. Welcome back to JT Talks Jobs. This is the show that teaches you everything that school didn't when it comes to job search and career growth. And today we're going to be talking about anxiety, specifically job search anxiety, which a lot of people have, especially right now with all that is going on in the world. So I'm going to be walking you through actually the 6 steps that you can take to really manage and put your anxiety in check. And this is a technique that I was taught very early on when I became a career coach. It actually applies to all forms of anxiety. So while we're going to work within the framework of job search today, know that this is a skill, a life skill that if you really apply it and get good at it, can help you with a lot of other types of anxiety as well. And I'm really excited to share that with you. Before we begin, just a couple of things. I want to let you know that one of the best companion pieces you can have for today is our job search checklist. And this is a free resource that we offer over at Work It Daily. So just head on over to our resources page. You will be able to download the job search checklist for free. It is the most comprehensive checklist you will find right now that will help you structure your job search properly so that you're not skipping any steps and you know that you're doing the things that you need to in order to get noticed by recruiters. So we've had a lot of rave reviews about this. We love sharing our free resources with you, so make sure that you go over and check it out. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is that this is a very in-depth class today. And at the end, if you stay to the very end, I'm going to be offering you something special. So there is a bonus for those of you that really, put your minds into it today. So clear your desk off, close down your phone, shut everything else down, and really be present with me here today because we're talking about a serious subject, the subject of anxiety, and how you can better deal with it effectively. And again, stay to the end, and I got something special for you. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? So today we're going to talk about those 6 steps for overcoming job search anxiety. But before we begin, I want to mention something that people are usually surprised to hear. And you can look this up. Studies show that a little bit of anxiety is actually good for you. A little bit, not a ton, a little bit. And what do I mean by that? Well, small amounts of anxiety can actually put us in motion. It makes us plan better and it makes us try harder. So if you think about, I'm going to give you a silly one, right? But sitting there at night and realizing that tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., the garbage man comes. And if I don't have my garbage cans out there in front at 7, I'm going to miss the window. And then my really filled up garbage cans are going to be stuck for another week and it's going to be smelly and it's not good. So there's my incentive. As much as I don't want to, I'm going to get off the couch, go out and take the garbage cans out now so that in the event I oversleep in the morning and I don't miss out on the garbage being picked up. Kind of sounds a little weird, but that little bit of worry, that little bit of anxiety over the idea of missing the garbage is enough to make me take action. So we all have this. We all go through many moments of anxiety, and certainly one's a little bit larger than that, which again, make us take action. They make us think through situations to avoid pitfalls. Our human brain was designed to do this. So there's something called the ancient brain in the back of us. And again, you can look this up online. And this was built to do the flight or fight situation. So every experience we had, we processed it and decided, okay, was that a good experience or a bad experience? Should I run from that or should I run towards it? And we store that away. And so our brains are designed to look at situations and have that little bit of anxiety to be alert and figure out what should I do and how can I avoid and what do I know about this situation so I can make the right decision. So this is a common feeling. You would be odd to not ever have anxiety, at least a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of worry. That's how we're built. But when we have a lot of anxiety, when anxiety really builds up, our world can get away from us. And as we know, that can lead to actually paralysis, analysis paralysis, meaning we don't take any action at all. And when anxiety really builds up and doesn't get dealt with, it can lead to depression. And then between depression and anxiety, you can really have, a tough time on your hands. And so I am talking to all of you today who are getting to that point with your job search where you're saying, I'm starting to feel stuck. I'm starting to feel paralyzed. I'm finding myself worrying about it all the time and having anxiety, but I don't seem to really be able to make any progress. If that sounds like you, then you've come to the right place. And honestly, if you know somebody that's going through this, what I hope you do today is share this resource with them when it's over, because we want to help as many people as we can learn to cope and manage with this type of anxiety. All right. So when we have high anxiety, we actually have something called too much NFF. NFF. And this is not NFF isn't a clinical term, but it's something that I heard and I loved it because I felt like it really made so much sense. So when you have too much NFF, I am referring to negative future fiction. So future fiction is when you start to visualize or imagine terrible things happening. And that's fiction because it hasn't happened yet. There's the past, which it's already gone by. You know what happened to that situation. There's the present, you're living in it right now. And then there's the future. And future fiction is us projecting onto what we think is going to happen. This kind of excessive negative future fiction creates a ton of anxiety. It makes us preoccupied. And so this is what we're going to talk about today, this idea of eliminating negative future fiction and replacing it with something better. All right. Now, first step in the process is to really get it out. You got to do what we call the fears brain dump. So if you have a pen right now and you want to get started, grab a piece of paper. The idea is to just take a minute. It'll probably take you more than a minute, I'm going to be honest, and dump out all the things regarding job search that you have so much fear around right now. So anything that's keeping you up at night. And I want you to go, because let me tell you something, we get really good. Remember, ancient brain, fight or flight, looking for the negativity. We just spit it out. But it is very, very important that you get it out of your head and onto a piece of paper, and you sit there and you write out every silly, crazy thing that you're thinking, every negative fear, every anxiety that you have until you've run out. Until you say, well, that's about it. Can't think of anything else. And maybe you're going to put the piece of paper away and sleep on it and come back and think of 10 more. But I want you to keep going. And I don't know how long it'll take you. For most people, they can do it in an afternoon. Some people need 24 hours. But within a short period of time, you're literally going to say, that's a long list, but that's everything. Yep, that's everything that I'm worried about right now. It's a very cathartic feeling to take those thoughts and actually organize them onto a piece of paper and be able to say collectively, here they are. This is everything that's going on in my brain. It sort of frees you up. It takes it out of there and gives you a chance to breathe. I got it all on a piece of paper. I can't lose track of it anymore. So my brain can give me a break. My brain says, all right, you've got it someplace that I know you know to refer back to. So I don't have to keep referring to it every 2 seconds for you to try to remind you. See how that works? See how interesting our brain is? So it's very important that you do this fears brain dump. Now, here are 4 of the very common things that I see on a fears brain dump when it comes to job search. I will see things from our clients like, JT, I'll never get a job. I'll never get a job. I'm going to lose everything. I'm a total failure. I'm completely humiliated. And I stop right there because notice the words that I put in all caps and bolded. These are all what we would call like excessive statements or what we call extreme statements. And so I'll go back to that in a second because as you can see, step 2 is to challenge these extremes. But, let's try that again. Can we get that to work? And we're trying. Hang on. There it is. Sorry, game. So again, let's look at these 4. I know that your list is going to be much, much longer, but these are really common ones. And I'm sure everyone here that's on today's session can relate. Your brain is saying to you in a panic mode, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get a job, never. And I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose my apartment. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose my car. I'm going to lose everything. And then I'm going to be seen as a failure and I'm going to be so humiliated. And this is going to be the worst thing that ever happened to me. Nobody will ever trust me again. No one will want to hang out with me again. I'll be shunned. I'll never be able to get another job as a result, right? Listen to that. Everyone's brain in job search when they have high levels of anxiety is doing exactly something like that. This massive spin of negative self-talk, this negative future fiction. That isn't true, but as we know, whatever we think can happen. So the fact that you're allowing these negative thoughts to control and dominate all of your thoughts is not healthy, nor is it good for your job search. We get what we look for. This is true. We get what we look for. If you look for failure, you will get failure. If you look for opportunity, you will find opportunity. But so many of us are on autopilot right now with a lot of this anxiety-driven negative future fiction that we can't get off the treadmill. We can't get off that hamster wheel and be able to take a step back. And so again, the first step is to write it all out. And then what I want you to do is a little bonus exercise. Do what I did here. Every single statement, I want you to circle the extreme words. Things like never, can't, everything, total, complete. These are extreme words. They're excessive. They're like all or nothing words. And that's just not how the world works. Yet think about what they're doing to your brain and how wound up you are, because all you're saying to yourself are these over the top, intense statements that candidly aren't true because that hasn't happened yet. It's future fiction. So why are you creating such a negative future fiction? Well, I just showed you, your brain likes to go in that default mode. The human brain was designed to do that. But it doesn't mean that you have to allow it to keep going. You have the capacity to shift this. You are smarter. Your more recent brain is far smarter than that ancient brain that's doing this to you. You can rise above this. You can control what's happening in here. That's a scientific fact. But you can't do it until you start to define it and list it out and understand just how excessive it is. All right, so now we move into step 2, which is challenging those extremes, challenging all those excessive statements. I want you to think about it this way. So you know how there's like this victim inside your head, this worrisome, anxiety-driven victim going, all these bad things are going to happen to me. Well, we need to balance that victim out. We need that other voice inside your head. I always think about, there's this commercial, I don't know if it was in all parts of the country, but I just remember there was this commercial where there was like a regular milkman on one side, and then the devil was the chocolate milk. And so the milk was talking about how wholesome and good it was for you, and the chocolate milk was like, yeah, but this tastes delicious. And so it was this whole two opposing, points of view, but they technically were both right. Even the devil was right. It was great. The devil had attitude and, a lot more chutzpah. So I want you to think about this. This person that's saying all these negative, anxiety-driven things is acting like a victim, is acting weak and scared. And you don't want to be that person. So what we have to do is pull out your stronger voice, your sassy voice, your voice that challenges. I want you to pull out that voice that you use for your friends when your friends are scared, when your friends have anxiety and you want to bolster them up and you want to tell them, stop that. You're being crazy. You're overreacting. You got this. We need that voice for yourself. So there's a technique you use to do that. So let's take a look. So you'll see the 4 statements that we came up with so far, job search anxiety. Now look at this first one. I'll never get a job. I need that other little voice to come in and save the day. And I need that voice to say something like, that's not true. You will get a job. It may not be ideal, but seriously, who cares? This is a total reset for everyone. COVID-19 is a reset for everyone. So who cares? You're going to get a job, right? See that? You need that fight. You've got to write out that sassy statement that challenges this weaker victim, negative future fiction that isn't accurate. Fight back. Next one, I'm going to lose everything. No, you will not. You'll deal with the financial challenges and you'll move through it. You will figure out how to keep what's most important to you. So who cares about the rest? See how that works? The third one, I'm a total failure. Wrong. You've been very successful in the past and you will be again. Everyone has challenges and setbacks, especially right now. And besides, who cares if you aren't crushing it this very second? It will make even a better comeback story down the line. See how that's working? And then the last one, I'm completely humiliated. Of what? Of doing your best? You did what you could do at the time. You could have never predicted the situation and what was going to happen. Stop thinking that you had control over something that you didn't have control over. And besides, who cares what people think? Honestly, they're way too busy worrying about themselves to be thinking about you. See what's happening there? We're fighting back. We're reframing the conversation in our brain. So here's what I want you to do. You write out all your fears, all your anxiety. And then I want you to imagine that's not you in the list. I want you to imagine it's your best friend. I want you to imagine it's somebody that you really admire in their career. And I want you to give them the factual rewrite, the pep talk of a lifetime. I want you to really map it out. And I think you probably noticed something that I did here. You'll notice that I bolded and underlined in every single one. Who cares? Who cares is a powerful statement. Say it out loud right now. You're all out there listening, right? Think about one thing that you've been worried about. And I want you to go, who cares? Say it right now. Who cares? Say it again. Who cares? Because it doesn't matter. The only person that matters is you. And you've got to fight back that ancient brain that's telling you to worry about people that you don't need to be worrying about. Because that's what's really going on here. At the root of all this anxiety is fear of judgment. That's it. Right? Fear of judgment. And what you need to say is, who cares? You can do this. So it's very important that you choose text for this second column that is inspiring and positive and accurate, and fight back and reframe this future fiction that is not accurate. So it's got to be intense, good word choice. See how I did that here? Very, very important that you become stronger than that weak little victim that's going on there. All right. So can we visualize the two? Right? We like this new person that came on the scene. This new person's got our back. This new person believes in us. This new person's putting in perspective and telling us to stop overreacting and to stop creating, fiction, right? So, so important. All right. So now we move on to step 3. Now, this is another proven technique that a lot of people in the industry have studied, a lot of psychologists, and it's called think worst case. So you have to think about something that could be worse in order to put it in better perspective. When you think about worst case scenario, meaning how it could be worse than what you have, yours sounds better. So let's think about that a little bit, right? And you'll see, I always say, your worst is somebody else's best. That's the truth. In every situation, what you think is the worst literally could be somebody else's best. It's how it works. So you have to think about what could be worse than the situation you have now. Now let's look at it. I'll never get a job. That's not true. You will get a job. It may not be ideal, but seriously, who cares? This is a total reset for everyone right now. Now here's the next part. At least I'm capable of getting a job, unlike some people who live in parts of the world that are far worse off and physically incapable of getting work. See how that works? Now we say, at least I got this. At least I can do that. At least I'm able to do this. Other people have it worse than me. Worst case scenario, meaning worse than you have. This is so important. Let's look at another one. I'm going to lose everything. No, you will not. You'll deal with the financial challenges and you'll move through it. You will figure out how to keep what's most important to you. So who cares about the rest? At least I always have ways to get back on track. My worst financial situation is someone else's best. See how that works? I'm a total failure. Wrong. You've been successful in the past and you will be again. Everyone has challenges and setbacks, especially right now. And besides, who cares if you aren't crushing it at this second? It will make for an even better comeback story later. And at least I have my past experience in education to help me move forward. So many people don't have any of that and are suffering for lack of knowledge and skills. Right? Fourth one, I'm completely humiliated. Of what? Of doing your best? You did what you could at the time. Nobody could have predicted this situation. Stop thinking you had control when you didn't. And besides, who cares what people think? Honestly, they're way too busy worrying about themselves to think about you. And at least I know how to learn from my mistakes and my past setbacks. So many people struggle to get out of a rut like this because they don't know how to use the experience to grow. See how that works? 3 parts. Here's my fear statement. Here's my reframing statement. And here's why I'm better off than others. That there's something worse than what I have. So we go from negative to neutral to positive. This beautiful combination trains your brain to step down, to stop putting the pedal on, the anxiety pedal on. You are now overpowering a simple negative statement with fact, the middle column, right? And gratitude. This is a powerful, powerful combination. And when you take the time to write it out and really work with it, you will be amazed at how you can catch yourself in that anxiety moment and stop it. Because if you read this and read this and read this again, what will happen is your brain will go, wait a minute. Oh, first comes, I'll never get a job. But you know what comes next? Oh, that's not true. And you know what comes after that? Gratitude. Literally, your brain is designed to train to do that. Just like working out, just like any habit. You know, our company is called Work It Daily for a reason. When you do this kind of work on yourself, you would be amazed at how well you can put anxiety in check. I'm going to share with you now, this whole technique is called NeuroLinguistic Programming. It's an aspect of NeuroLinguistic Programming. That is what you've been doing as I've been taking you through this. This is what I was taught to do when I became a career coach and I got certified. And what you just did when you build out that framework, those 3 columns, is you created your first NLP chart, your first NeuroLinguistic Programming chart. When I was first told to do this, and I'll tell you a quick story. When I was first taught NLP, I had to do it on myself as part of the assessment process. I had to take an aspect of my life that I thought I was a failure at, that I was convinced that I could never improve. And so for me, I chose fitness and wellness. I had not been an athlete growing up. I was a cheerleader, you know, that sort of thing. And I really had it in my head that I just wasn't an athletic person. And so I was taught this technique and worked with my instructor through this process. And when it was all over, I had to take it even a step further and create a vision for myself of what would prove to me that that outdated negative future fiction was wrong and that I could really be an athletic person. What was going to happen to transition that? You're going to see in the subsequent exercises, steps, can't speak today. You're going to see in the subsequent steps what you have to do to get there. But I'll tell you that when I was done, I became a fitness instructor. And that was 19 years ago at the age of 33. So neurolinguistic programming and NLP charting really works, especially if you apply it. And I'm going to show you what to do in the next steps. Okay? Awesome. So now we're going to create an NLP statement. So we now have to have something to really push us through and get us in the right mindset. So in this case, you're going to say something like, I will get a job, I will find a way. Very simple. Doesn't have to be a long statement. I will get a job and I will find a way. Notice the word will, not I can, not I hope. I will get a job, I will find a way. I will get a job, I will find a way. I will get a job, I will find a way. Hear that rhythm? What do we know about our brain and patterns? What does it need to hear over and over again? It needs an NLP statement. It needs something to condition itself to take it off the anxiety track and onto the right mindset. So yours could be, you can take this one if you want. If you've got job search anxiety, you can steal mine. Absolutely. Right? You can absolutely do this. But you're going to say things like in my case, it was, I am athletic. I am athletic. I am athletic. You're going to say, I will get a job. I will find a way. I will get a job. I will find a way. Whatever it is, it's a simple statement. It's very, very intentional. There's no room for doubt. It is what it is, and it is going to happen. And that is your NLP statement. Step 5, now we're going to develop some PFF. So if we know that NFF is negative future fiction, it's time to start creating some PFF, some positive future fiction. And this is a really fun exercise. What you're going to do is imagine you celebrating. And in this case, what are you celebrating? You're celebrating you got a job. So I want you to imagine the celebration. What are you wearing when you celebrate at the celebration that you got a job? Who are you with? Who's with you at the celebration? Where are you celebrating? Are you at the house or your favorite restaurant or bar when it opens again? Where are you? What are you feeling as you're sitting there with people? What are you feeling? And what are you doing at the celebration? Are you having a meal? Are you sharing a cocktail? Are you toasting? Are you dancing? Are you playing yard games? What are you doing? And then on top of all that, as you're thinking about this celebration of your new job, your outfit, how you look, who you're with, what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're playing, how you're feeling, and you've got this whole beautiful, positive future fiction in your mind, I want you to add a theme song. What's the song that's like playing as this whole beautiful montage is happening? Now, I know this sounds weird at first. People go, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. I am telling you, force yourself to do this. Once again, we have learned a lot about our brain. We have very visual brains. And the more of a story we can tell and the more we can see things, the easier it is for us to make them happen. People who are extremely successful at achieving incredible goals could see them done. See themselves crossing the finish line of the marathon, see themselves getting their PhD, right? See themselves, doing a million things, starting that company and selling it for $1 million. I don't know, whatever it is, they visualize, they daydream. They use positive future fiction to help guide them and keep them out of an anxiety state. Here's an amazing thing. You can't be positive and negative at the same time. It's not possible. You're either positive or you're negative. So you can't be in an anxiety state when you're daydreaming about this awesome celebration for your new job. You can't. So you need to give yourself a break from that anxiety by using this story to put you in a happy place. It is very, very important that you do this. This is a very big part of NeuroLinguistic programming. All right. So going back to my example around fitness, for me, it became, I see the day that I get certified as a fitness instructor and I'm teaching my first class and there's a room full of people there, all with smiles on their faces because they're having such a good time and I'm teaching them to be fit and they're following me. Therefore, I am athletic. See that celebration? I'm celebrating being a fitness instructor, teaching my first class. Think about that. I am athletic. And sure enough, it happened. And being a fitness instructor has been a hobby career of mine ever since. So this is what you can do for yourself when you use positive future fiction to keep you in a happy place and motivated and to really squelch that anxiety. Okay? Don't forget the theme song. I'm telling you, it's the best. All right. So now we come to step 6. This is where we tie the whole thing together. This is where it really, really works. At least 2 times a day. So my advice is to do it first thing in the morning. When you get up, give yourself a little bit of time. Maybe you're, having breakfast, coffee, tea, something like that. And then again in the evening before you go to bed, carve out time. And once you get in the routine of this, it won't feel so weird. First, you want to pull out your NLP chart. So that 3-column chart that we created, you're going to read through and see how you've rewritten all of those anxiety statements. And I want you to read it. And I want you to read it with the energy that I was reading it. Right? There's that victim statement is kind of weak. Then there's that positive state, that neutral statement where we really debunk the myth and the negative future fiction. And then we get to the gratitude part where we say, well, it could be worse. And I want you to read that with gusto, maybe not out loud, but certainly in your mind to yourself. Very important that you do that because you're training your brain to use NLP to stop with the anxiety-driven negative statements that are not true. So you have to do that framework. The second thing I'm going to have you do is something called box breathing. We know for an absolute fact that when we're doing something like this, it really helps if you use a breathing technique to calm yourself down and make your breathing more relaxed and rhythmic. So this is something they teach a lot. You can go Google search it. You can watch videos on it. They teach the military this, but really quickly. Box breathing is you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, right? And then you hold that exhale for 4 seconds. So see how that works? Inhale for 4, hold it for 4, exhale for 4, hold that for 4. And you do that 4 times. You'll probably want to do it more over time. There's something about rhythmic breathing that makes you have to focus because you're having to count and focus on your breath that clears out all distractions. Really clears them out. So now you've gone through your chart, you've done your box breathing to clear your brain out, get yourself super present, and now you say it 20 times in a rhythmic fashion, right? I will get a job. I will make it happen. I will get a job. I will make it work. I will get a job. I will make it work. You can even play your PFF theme song. You can even go get your celebration theme song, start playing that in the background and sing to it, right? I will get a job. I will make it work. I will get a job. I will make it work. I will get a job. I will make it work. But you need to really say that 20 times repeatedly, because now that you've cleared your brain and you've said this, you're going to see it's very positive. It's a positive statement. It's going to put you in a positive place. And then we get to the best part. You close your eyes and you review and you start adding to the beautiful story that is your positive future fiction. So now you get to say, all right, I will get a job. I will make it work 20 times. What does it look like when I get that job? Oh, I'm celebrating. I'm outside. I'm hosting a barbecue. I'm eating my favorite pasta salad. I'm drinking a great glass of wine. 10 of my friends are over. We're playing lawn darts. The music's blaring. There's some, country music playing in the background. I'm having the best day ever and I feel amazing. I have a smile on my face. I have the cutest outfit on. It's, blue with polka dots, and I can smell the grass outside. And see what I'm saying? It's like you just have to visualize that. And in that moment, you've taken yourself all the way through the steps and ending on that last positive future fiction statement. You will be amazed at what this does for you, folks. You're talking about 15 minutes maybe in the morning and 15 minutes at night. And I got to ask you, would you like to get rid of your anxiety? How important is it that you get rid of that job search anxiety? It's pretty important. You don't want to feel like this all the time. And I'll tell you, at least 2 times a day, but every time that anxiety crops up, in the middle of the day, maybe you get a note that says, like, who hasn't gotten this recently? Sorry, that job we were going to have you interview for is on hold due to COVID-19, right? In that moment, all of a sudden your fears come back. You go right to this process. You go right to it and you follow through it. It is not hokey. It is not new age hooey. This is brain science. And anyone can do it, and it doesn't cost you anything. But the power of this is really 10x when you do this. And I will tell you something. You go talk to the most successful and satisfied people in the world. You want to talk to the Oprahs of the world, the Richard Bransons of the world, all these people that have done amazing things. If you don't think it's because they haven't gotten so good at their NLP, you're wrong. They will tell you it is all up here. They have learned to condition their NLP. They have learned to take their negative self-talk, neutralize it, and add in the positivity. And they do that to the point that as soon as something pops up that's negative, boom, their brain is on that thing, tackling it, tearing it apart, ripping it down, and getting rid of it and saying, no, not here. And if it's a really hard thing, they double down on it. So I'm not making this up. This is the process that gets used. And today you learn the techniques that are so simple, 6 steps that will put you in the right frame of mind. Now, couple of tips before we get to questions. First of all, it really helps if you create an NLP journal. Your NLP journal. Grab a notebook, whatever that you have, and go through all of these exercises. The recording will be available to you. You can go back and watch it. But when you build out your NLP chart, your first chart, that's really important. When you're putting together your statement, your NLP statement, and having that there for you to review. And then, of course, you might want to write down the box breathing technique. It's pretty easy. But then lastly, having that PFF, really writing out your positive future fiction. All of that can be stored. That's actually number 2, in one place. And keeping that in one place makes it easy for you to go back to it in the morning, in the evening, and any other time you need. Now, the second tip is to make your PFF visual. So if you know what food you want at your PFF, put it in your journal. If you know what beverages, obviously your song, what are you wearing? Go and cut through magazines, find pictures online, doodle, I don't care. But visualization is really, really important. It helps our brains. And so you've heard people create vision boards. It's essentially a technique like that. But the more you can get your story so technicolor in your head, the more likely it is to happen. And so you want to invest time. And plus, it's very fun and happy to say, I'm going to go find the picture of the outfit I'm going to wear when I'm celebrating my new job. I'm going to find the picture of the food I'll be serving when I'm celebrating my new job. So the more visual you can make it, not everybody has the natural ability to tell a great story in their head. Some people just can do it. They're visionaries. They're gifted. They can take what I'm sharing today and turn it into a massive, major motion picture in their mind. It takes time to learn that skill. It's something that took me a long time, but I can do it now. When I want to visualize something, I can go all in. But I do spend time on Pinterest. I do spend time on YouTube or wherever else I can go and look for visuals to give me ideas of what I want in my story. And so that's very important that you do that as well. All right, so there you have it. Again, we're going to take questions in a second. I just have one more thing I want to share with you. In my session last week, I talked about this concept of post-traumatic growth. So there's post-traumatic stress disorder, which is very different, but there's something called post-traumatic growth, which will happen out of this COVID-19 and financial crisis. Whenever you have an entire society go from here in their happiness level suddenly to here, at the end, when it's over, you end up higher than where you started. Most people end up higher than when they started. And that's because you realize everybody is in this and everybody's suffering in some way. And as we talked about when you're building your NLP chart, your worst is somebody else's best. And you start to really realize that in situations like this and become grateful for what you have and put that negativity in perspective. So there is a silver lining to what's happening to us right now. As hard as it is, we're going to come out stronger and happier on the other side, which means you, my friend, are going to work through this and get a job and be happier in the job than when you were before. That can happen. That will happen, but only if you follow this process to put your job search anxiety in check. Okay? Because again, post-traumatic growth is coming. You're going to be happier on the other side, but you got to use the techniques. You got to build it up here. Awesome. All right. So now I'm going to be taking some questions from everyone about this technique, this process, keeping the anxiety in check. Really looking forward to talking to you about it. Just a simple reminder, 2 quick reminders. 1, we have a complete job search checklist that can help you. One of the things that people often say is, I don't know if I'm doing my job search right. I think I'm doing my job search wrong. My job search is a mess. Again, those negative statements. Well, go fix it. Go grab our resources totally free. Download it, and that way you'll be able to at least give yourself some sense of control, right? And then the second thing is I promised you at the end of this that you were going to get something special. So by taking the time to sit here and listen, we have a special offer for you. The team is going to share the links for you. It's a special offer to join us at Work It Daily. One of the best ways to deal with job search anxiety is to have a coach. Is to work with people who can talk you off that ledge, who can help you with that column and say, no, that's not true. Those negative statements are wrong, who can give you the motivation and the resources and the support to get yourself in a better mindset, to get yourself to net neutral and thinking and looking for those opportunities. You should not do this alone. You know, when it comes to your work and looking for a job, you know, you're in business for yourself, so to speak, when it comes to that, but you don't have to be in business by yourself. So many people are out there looking for work all alone and don't know if they're doing it right. They're embarrassed. They have all this overwhelming avalanche of anxiety because you're alone. One of the fastest ways to get rid of that anxiety is to be with like-minded people and to have a coach who has your back, who can talk you through it. So again, special offer for you because you sat through this. If you really want to address your job search anxiety, you need to come join us at Work It Daily. And I know the team is sharing the links with you so that you can do that. Okay? Awesome. All right. But now I want to take questions, my favorite part of the show. And I'm hoping that we have a lot of them today. Let's see. Hector just wanted to comment and say, this is a reset for everyone. Let's make it work in our favor. Thank you, Hector. That's what I'm talking about. That's that middle column in the NeuroLinguistic Programming chart, right? In the NLP chart, you say, hey, this is everyone's reset. Not just me, everyone. All right, check myself. Exactly. That's what you need to do more of. And the more you condition your brain to do that, the lower you'll see your anxiety drop, folks. Let's see. So we have a question from YouTube. A company has been contacting me 4 times in the past month and then never followed through. This is a great job. Contacted last Thursday again to complete the app and finally did last night and didn't follow through because I've gotten so many rejections and so many life circumstances that I just can't take it anymore. Everything is in my mind and this is not me. All right. So this is a beautiful example, right? Listen to you're in your brain right now. The future fiction is, I've gotten so many rejections. I'm definitely going to get rejected from this too. I'm going to get rejected from everything. I'm never going to get a job. My life is over. I can't do this anymore. Look at all of those statements, all full of all or nothings, all full of negatives that you can't predict that. You don't know. You don't know. And so you're such a beautiful example right now of somebody that is dealing with negative future fiction. You're basing it on what happened in the past. Don't let the past dictate your future. You've got to take a hold of this and say, I can figure this out. Maybe that's what your statement is. I will figure this out, right? Because to you, you're saying, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't this working for me? So maybe what you need to hear over and over again is, I will figure this out. I will make it happen. I will figure this out. I will make it happen. I will figure this out. I will make it happen. There's yours. There's your statement. I will figure this out. I will make it happen. And you need to say that over and over and over to yourself until you drown out that negativity, because that is where the paralysis comes in. And thank you for sharing that, because I know it's hard to even open up and say that, but I promise you, this is the best part. It's not an expensive fix. It's you repeating to yourself the right stuff. Don't let the ancient brain, the fear-mongering brain, take control. Use the more recent brain, use the smarter brain to step back and go, hold up here. That's not true. They contacted me. And even if I don't get this one, I'll figure it out. I'll make it happen. I'll figure it out. I'll make it happen. I will get a job. Enough is enough. You can't control me, ancient brain. I got this. You got to fight back. You have to fight back. Awesome. Liv says, anyone else have that thing where you're afraid to visualize happy outcomes because of the fear they won't happen, and then it feels like a disappointment will be even worse? It's a thought spiral I really wish I could break. Oh my gosh, I love this one, Liv. Hold up. Liv, how nice is it to have that dream in your brain when you are sitting there and you are thinking about that amazing celebration that you're going to have, that happy thought, right? Doesn't it feel good right then and there? So what if it never happens? It's doing its job. In the moment, it's making you happy. When we're little kids, we daydream all dang long. We don't think about whether or not it's going to happen or not. We just enjoy the daydream. We enjoy thinking about what could be. And somewhere along the line, as we grew up, we started to say, well, gee, if those dreams don't come true, then that's a bad thing. Who cares? Get back to dreaming. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to create the most amazing PFF, right? Positive future fiction, with no intention of it coming true. How about we take that off the plate? How about you come up with a really fun, totally cool idea and say, it's all to myself. It's only for my mind. It's only here. It's only for me. And I'm going to think about it. Only for me. Doesn't have to come true because it's already happening here. You need to get back to your daydreaming and stop squashing daydreams because they either come true or not. That's not the point of them. The point of them is to psychologically put you in a happy place, because you can't have anxiety and sadness when you're thinking happy thoughts. That is the only reason that you do that. Now, guess what? Over time, some of these really will come true. Yes, they will. And maybe not in the exact way that you dreamed about them, but they'll happen nonetheless. But that's not the goal of these. The goal isn't that it has to come true because you're thinking about it. The goal is that you're taking your mind to a happy place, which is completely over your control. So stop thinking that it has to happen. And instead, I want you to build a beautiful story that's not supposed to ever happen. Try that. See what happens. Totally change it up. Take control. Nivea says, where did you learn so much about gratitude and the law of attraction? What you taught us about gratitude and law of attraction. Because of you, I have my annual salary check on a visual board signed by my dream employer, and I already see myself on the interview. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's funny that you asked me that question. So for as long as I can remember, I've been a psychology junkie. When I was young, growing up, I would take every quiz out there. I wanted to learn and understand myself. I just wanted to be able to have the answers. And it's funny, my degree is in engineering psychology. So for those of you that don't know what it is, it's human factors in design. So you take psychology and human beings and how they think and act, and you apply them to products and services and things to improve it, right? So it's always been what I nerd out on. When I realized that this was a science and that this wasn't new age hooey, and that you literally had the capacity to work it daily and in minutes a day through this kind of process, change your outcomes, it blew my mind. It doesn't take hours and it doesn't take years. It doesn't take decades. Just doing this consistently every day has an incredible effect. It's like building muscles. I don't know if y'all know this, but As you build up muscles, muscles have memory, right? Remember, I'm a fitness instructor. So it's much easier once you get to a certain fitness level, even if you slack off for a while and get off track, it's actually much easier to bring your body back because it has muscle memory and it remembers you being in that fit state. Well, this whole thing I'm teaching you, same thing. The better you get at dealing with the little anxiety pieces and just pouncing on those negative statements when big stuff hits you, because it does, right? We suffer in life. Things happen, bad things happen. And those ones tumble us back a bit and they take a little bit longer to get back. We do get back though. We get back because we learned how to deal with the everyday little stuff. So when the bigger stuff comes along, we've got the capacity to take it in and deal with it and get back to it. So this is stuff that I've been doing. This is decades of research on my part and working it into Work It Daily, into all of our videos, into all of our PDFs. Everything inside the Work It Daily platform is built under NeuroLinguistic Programming and understanding that we're helping you reframe your situation. And it works. It absolutely works because it's brain science. It's the real deal. And I'm a voracious reader and listener. I mean, I study this stuff every single day. And I'll never stop learning. There's so much more to learn about this. I hope that I am doing this for the next decade so that I can bring you even more insights, because when I figure them out, I'm going to turn right around and share them with all of you. That is for darn sure. Let's see. I believe one can be positive and negative at the same time. So could you elaborate on more on that point? Oh yeah, no, I don't. In a moment, you can't be both. Overall, if you want to look bigger picture, sure. Can I sit down and say, well, in this period of my life, it's going well, and in this area of my life, it's not going so well. So you've got positive here and you've got negative here. These are my viewpoints on specific situations. But in an actual moment, when I'm thinking a singular thought, I can either be positive or negative. So when I'm looking at that aspect of my life, I'm thinking positively in the moment. When I look at that aspect of my life, I'm thinking negatively in the moment. You cannot be both in the same moment. So, for example, the reason there's such a big trend in talking about gratitude, or what I said is, how could it be worse, right? The whole "at least I" statement. At least I've got this, or at least I've got that. There's study after study that shows when you're reading through things that you're grateful for, you can't have negative emotions towards gratitude. It's not possible. So this is why some people say build a gratitude list every day, talk about gratitude, because you cannot live in that moment with negativity and positivity at the same time. And that is a truth. You cannot. Bigger picture, as you pointed out, sure, there's parts of you that can be negative about things and positive, but in a moment, you can either be one or the other when you're thinking about a singular thought. So you train your brain to have very positive and constructive thoughts towards an area of your life that you think is negative. You tear down the negativity, you replace it with objectivity, you get to net neutral thinking about it, and then you start to build the opportunity. Now you start to see the possibilities, and this is where you're able to create that positive future fiction, right? So it's a process. It's a process people have to go through. Think about it, folks. I'm going to give you a great example. Have you ever been really down in the dumps, feeling bad, feeling sorry for yourself, and then something incredible happens? Just something so unexpected. And like that, you're happy. Like that. What happened was that positive, unexpected thing completely shifted your mindset. Completely. It gave you new perspective. It gave you new opportunity. It gave you new outlook. It gave you new feelings. That's what's possible. That's what you can actually control day to day. And even when you're in a funk, you can get out of those funks. And I'm the first to tell you, look, if you get in a funk for a day, you've got a really bad thing going on. It's hard for me to just say, flip a switch. I'm not just going to tell you be positive. That's not my point. I hope everyone understands that. I would never sit here and say the solution is to just be positive. It doesn't work that way. The solution, the engineer is telling you, is to deconstruct what's making you sad, challenge the negative, overwhelming, inaccurate future fiction, and rewrite what it could look like. And by breaking that down and then reconstructing it back up, you will change what's happening here. That you can do. It's really, really important that you do it. Claire says, I get anxiety when recruiters and headhunters don't get back to me. What steps can I take to stop this? Great question, Claire. Okay, Claire, first of all, I always tell people don't get a job crush. If you talk to a recruiter or a headhunter, here's what I would do. Make no assumptions. Have no expectations. Oh, I talked to that recruiter. I expect nothing out of that. If I get a call, if they return to me, I am going to be pleasantly surprised, but I'm going to start setting my expectations low. It's nice they called, but I'm not going to expect anything. I'm going to move on. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go find 5 other companies that I really like and reach out to their recruiters. I'm going to take action and stay busy. I'm going to think about, wow, how amazing would it be if I keep doing this and I keep talking to more recruiters and I go find more people to talk to, and all of a sudden that other recruiter plus these recruiters all want me at the same time, and then several people want to work with me. How cool would that be? How do I make that happen? How do I make that recruiter want me when they call me up and they find out I'm in the running for 2 other jobs? Well, I go and I research and I network and I build out my network so that that can happen. See, you've got to shift the mindset, come up with a new idea, a new story in your mind, a new celebration, right? Instead of worrying about, oh, will they call me or not? Or I'm so scared and I'll be so hurt and crushed if they don't call me. Forget that. Let's focus on what would it look like when I had 3 job offers in the same week? What would it look like when I had recruiters literally competing over me? Oh, that sounds amazing. It would make me so happy. What would I have to do to get there? Oh, I'd have to, research more companies and network with more recruiters and get myself out there. So I'm going to go focus on that and forget about worrying about whether or not that recruiter is going to call me. Done, gone. Set the expectations as, oh, I spoke to them. That's it. Moving on. Does that make sense? Future self, future think, create the vision, go after it. Let's see. How can I keep the positivity going? I just got a contract job and offer and accepted. Yay, Crystal. That's fantastic. So first of all, Crystal, enjoy the moment. You got a job contract and you accepted. Celebrate the moment. Sit in it for a second and say, I did this. Look back on the story and say, what got me there? Celebrate all the little moments that you put together to make this happen. And now go, okay, this is fantastic. What do I want to have happen next? What can happen next in my career? What do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish? What does that look like? Start to focus on that. But for now, how about you just celebrate what you're in? Don't immediately move to the next thing. Celebrate this first. Enjoy the feeling. Don't dismiss it. And once you've enjoyed that for a little bit, start daydreaming. Get really good at daydreaming what your next thing could look like or what your next achievement is. And build out that major motion picture. Grab your theme song, like I said, and imagine that day and start working towards that, right? So important that you do that. All right, team. Wow. I hope you enjoyed today's session. It was a lot to cover. The recording, if you signed up for today's session, the recording will be in the feed when it's processed. You can go back through. Again, I really hope that you go through and create your NeuroLinguistic Programming journal and that you do all these steps. You might say, well, gee, JT, it sounds like a lot of work. Well, how much is getting rid of your anxiety worth to you? Is it worth time? And you might be saying, well, I don't know, this sounds a little hokey. Well, how much is getting rid of the anxiety worth to you? Enough for you to try something new? This is proven stuff, folks. This is science. It works. And as I said, if you enjoyed today and you want help, we gave you a very special offer. It's a limited time, won't last forever because we got to incentivize you to come and join us. Every time people get inside Work It Daily, they say, I don't know what took me so long. I know. Think Peloton for your career, right? Think Spotify for your career. Whatever app that you use, whatever platform you use that makes you feel better in some way, we're the job search and career version of it. So come join, hang out with our career coaches, get rid of your job search anxiety, and see what Work It Daily can do for you because we love our family, we love our members, and we want you to be a part of it. All right? Awesome. Okay, everyone. So I will see you back here Thursday. Remember, every Tuesday and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're hosting JT Talks Jobs Live, and we now have a brand new events calendar. So make sure in my feed, if you see the event you want to attend, all you have to do is sign up here. One click on LinkedIn, you'll get reminders and you'll get access to the recording if you miss it. So even if you can't attend live, but you like the topic, hit the sign up form of the event on LinkedIn, and that way you'll get notified here on the platform, okay? Awesome. All right. One last thought. Don't forget to go download the job search plan checklist. It's free to you, and it's a really great resource to help you get your job search in check, okay? And until next time, until Thursday at 2 p.m., remember, if you want to win, you've got to work it daily.